Managing in the new normal. How do we do this? Because of the necessity of having to work at home, many employees have become aware of certain realities. 1, working at home does not hurt their productivity. 2, it's nice not to have to commute every day. 3, a flexible schedule allows them to get their work done and still be home when the refrigerator repairman comes between 10 and 3. 4, it also means they can have dinner with their families more often. Because of this, many have become enamored of working in the office some days, and at home others. So, COVID probably will have a long-term effect on how workplaces are run and how we manage. I think the changes will fall into 3 main buckets: communication and engagement, the overall employee-boss relationship, and development, performance management, and promotion. Those are the 3. Now, I'm going to deal with the third one, development, performance management, and promotion, in a separate short video deep dive. So in this one, let's talk about the other 2. Communications and engagement. Having a hybrid workforce puts a particular strain on how we engage our reports and how we communicate with them. The impacts run from how we manage meetings, Zoom and otherwise, how we often have one-on-ones with our reports, and how we involve them with their team members who are working in different situations than they are, and how we continue to advance culture in a hybrid world. Let's talk about meetings. Everyone already talks about getting Zoom fatigue, simply because many people are spending all day on it, from group meetings to one-on-ones to small project groups, etc. So in order to make these Zoom meetings less onerous and time-consuming, they have to be planned well, used strategically, and run efficiently. And don't forget the human touch. So according to the advice I heard in interviews, here's how to do it. Don't use Zoom, and by this I mean any video conference platform. Don't use it for things you don't have to. It can become a knee-jerk reaction. You're on the phone, someone tells you something new, and you immediately turn around and set up a Zoom meeting. Don't use Zoom for information dissemination. Use it mostly for discussion. Since you're mostly now going to use Zoom for discussion, use all the Zoom tools like polls, breakouts, raising hands, etc. Because these vary the time spent and vary what people are looking at and who they're talking to, making the time a little more engaging. And remember, when you use breakouts, appoint or elect a spokesperson to share back to the main group of the breakout what happened in that breakout. Insist on your video being used well, and insist on people talking. Go around the room or around the screen to get input so individuals can't spend the whole Zoom saying nothing. If they're in the meeting, we need their input. So force it. End each Zoom with a recap of decisions, assignments, or next steps decided on. This reinforces the progress that is being made, gives everyone a deserved feeling of accomplishment. Also, build in some time for personal back and forth. The weather, funny stories about interruptions, kids, exercise, hobbies, etc. When time physically together is limited, this goes a long way in driving engagement and culture. So what about one-on-one feedback? Well, this is an area most managers are not great at in the best of times. In a hybrid situation, it's even harder. Here's some advice I heard about this area. If you've been pretty good at monthly one-on-ones, that is, you do them often, you do them well, you need to probably step up and make them bi-weekly because people need more contact in this environment, not less. If your reports are sometimes in the office and sometimes remote, vary the one-on-ones so they aren't all when they're remote or all when they're in person. When a report's in the office, make sure you get an informal FaceTime with him or her to facilitate them getting some FaceTime with their boss as well, with your boss as well. Focus on development and their time in the office because it's precious. Give them a chance and others to see you and to interact with them and interact with you and your boss. What about communication? If you oversee a large division or unit that includes both remote and in-office workers, don't be blind to the remote workers. Think about communicating in the same way to all through videos and town halls where everyone is on the same playing field, as it were. If you don't step up your communication and engagement of your people, how can you drive the positive aspects of your culture and values in a hybrid world? Something to think about. Finally, when you have major meetings, town halls, or discussions about strategy or talent or operations, and you're doing them on video platform, take lots of time and involve your team in structuring them so they're engaging and inclusive. Think about using a facilitator as well. These are hard to do well on your own. Finally, here's an area a lot of folks talked about. Enlightened managers have always felt that employees need to be managed by output or results. Yet many managers are still managing by input or by how much time is spent in the office or at the desk. Now, remote working changes that. All people I spoke to said remote working environment will hasten the move to managing by output. Managers will have clear discussions about what needs to be done, by when, will have to let employees get on with it. Managers will not have the ability to manage their reports' time and activities as much since they can't see them. So, I know output management is already the case with many knowledge workers and developers. I wonder if it will now extend more fully to a transactional and support colleague as well. Don't you think that focusing on results and what needs to get done, as opposed to on how much time one has to put in to do it, will lead to a more joined-up partnership between supervisors and reports that'll greatly improve the workplace environment as a whole? We can only hope. So thanks for watching. If you haven't clicked on structuring or career development, give them a try, and thanks again.